Hello lovelies, today I'm sharing how to style knee-high boots with everything from dresses to pants to skirts, plus what mistakes to avoid and my favorite pairs for 2025. Knee-high boots are possibly one of my favorite types of boots, and whether you're a longtime fan of them or you're new to styling the silhouette, you're gonna find inspiration, outfit ideas, plus more importantly, what to avoid when styling them. Knee-high boots are everywhere this season, but there's a reason why they're never really out of style. They're a fantastic way to manipulate shape, nail the fit and silhouette of your outfit, always find a pair that's appropriate for any occasion. So let's dive right in, and don't forget to stay to the end of the video where I'll be sharing a quick roundup of my favorite pairs, as well as how you can find your perfect pair of boots depending on your lifestyle, your budget, and your height. For example, perhaps you didn't know that finding the perfect shaft length that is the length from the ankle all the way to the knee is really key in making sure that your boots look their absolute best and that they don't shorten your legs. By the way, I'm Ziba and I'm so happy you're here. Make sure to hit the subscribe button for more styling videos on how to build a classic wardrobe. If you're a budget-minded lady that loves luxury and looking expensive, then you're in the right place. We'll start with the hardest one, which is styling knee-high boots with pants. I think that these tend to create a lot of confusion in terms of what pants do I wear them with, what type of silhouette, what length, all the things. It's really rather simple if you think about your boots and your pants as layers. So some really low-hanging fruit with pants is you want a slim silhouette like skinny jeans, straight leg jeans, riding pants or leggings. Those are all pants that are going to be really easy to style because they come first to your leg. Now, some of the things that wouldn't work that well are like a kick flare or a flare leg jean, wide leg pants, anything that's super baggy, because the pants have really not enough space inside the boot. And the problem with wearing the pants over the boot is that many times what ends up happening, even in the widest of legs, is that you can kind of see the top of the shaft kind of like kicking through the boot. So this is very distracting and uncomfortable as well because it makes a sound. Usually there's a little clunking feeling that you feel every single time it hits up against the pants. I recommend that if you do want to wear boots with the wide legs and the flare leg jeans of the world, that you opt for midi or ankle boots instead, just to save yourself that headache. Now, an exception would be a knee-high boot that's really, really tight. We're seeing a lot of glove boots that kind of like hug the calf and are very form-fitting. Now, some unexpected pairings with pants that I think look phenomenal are like with a more like a slouchy trouser tucked into your boots. I think looks amazing. I have this one pair of trousers actually back in stock by Quince, like a really nice wool pant that I love stuffing into my Zizan boots that are really glossy black. These are like very flat knee-high boots. And kind of a quick trick if you are stuffing pants that aren't necessarily skin tight and you don't want to have like the bunchy knees, which are a big no-no. Really great hack to make sure that your pants stay in place is by using knee-high socks underneath and then tucking your pants into the sock. So what that's gonna do is just gonna keep the pants in place and create that more of like the slouchy look. That's very cool girl versus like, you know, Louis the 15th or Renaissance period, just, you know, floofy pantaloons, if you will. And it works really well with jeans and denim and even leggings. So last year we saw a lot of like the knee-high socks sticking out of the top of the boot, and you're either like a fan, like you love it and you think it looks so hip, or you just feel like it just, you know, it doesn't resonate with you. I think it's a very polarizing styling option. Moving on to how to style knee-high boots with skirts. We'll start with the maxi skirt. The only real thing to consider is to try, and now it doesn't have to be perfect, but try to have it so that the skirt falls over the boot. This is for a couple of reasons. When the hemline and the top of the boot are too close together, this has happened to me before, sometimes your skirt can kind of just start tucking itself into the boot, and it just kind of ruins your confidence as you walk into the room and you're kind of feeling the skirt kind of popping into the boot. Ideally, you want to have that gorgeous skirt sitting right over, maybe a couple, 3-4 inches below the top of the boot. Also because when you have a little bit of a skin gap between the skirt and the boot, it can just ruin your line, be distracting and at times have you look a little bit shorter, especially when it is a longer skirt. In terms of the height of the knee-high boot, you really can go with anything. I think it looks very chic in English countryside to wear flat riding boots with like a gorgeous plaid maxi skirt or denim skirt as well. And on the other hand, I love the way a very like flowy romantic pleated skirt looks with more of a heel. It looks very dressy and help elongate your look, especially if you're a little shorter. I'm only 5'4", so I'm always looking for ways to elongate my silhouette. And this is a really easy way to do it, because if you can find a way to waist your skirt and have that gorgeous flowing silhouette, and then you have the high heel boots, then you tend to look a lot taller than you are. This is a really great way to come up with an easy outfit and still be really, really comfortable. And when it comes to mini skirts, the biggest consideration is making sure that if you are wearing high heel knee-high boots, that they are comfortable enough so that you don't do little shuffle steps kind of everywhere. And then you're wearing a short skirt. You can just really erode your confidence when you're walking around in a shorter skirt and you're uncomfortable. You're not gonna move as seamlessly through your environment as if you were comfortable. Now, when wearing shorter skirts, another big consideration is how long the shaft is. Make sure that it's not too short, because what it ends up doing, it ends up in no man's land on your calf. And that kind of creates a shorter illusion where you have a mini skirt that's cutting off your thigh, and you have that boot that's cutting off your calf, and you kind of end up in this weird blocky situation. On the other hand, if your boot is too long and it's kind of hiding most of your kneecap, then it can also make your legs look really, really short. I have to be careful with that. My calf in relation to my thigh is a little bit shorter, so I have to really watch out. The shaft of my boots aren't too long and they're not hiding my kneecap, like almost like you're playing dress up, like a little kid wearing like her mom's high heels or something. So those are two key things. Now, if you want to get even more length in a shorter skirt, look for a sloping collar of the boot. That's the top hemline of the boot. This is very, very elongating to your leg, much more than if it was just like straight across. So those are just some quick little hacks to keep in mind when wearing shorter skirts with boots. Now, when it comes to styling knee-high boots with dresses, they have very similar guideline structure than the maxi skirts. It's something to keep in mind is in the fall, winter, when we're wearing those very sexy, clingy, really beautiful knit sweater dresses at times. If you pick a longer silhouette, it can be a little bit tricky if you're wearing a knee-high boot, if it is a little bit snugger, because you kind of fall into the same trap, literally and figuratively, than you did with kind of the wearing the pants over the boot, where sometimes you can kind of see it pushing through. And while that might not be the end of the world, it just could have been avoided by wearing more of a glove boot, an ankle boot, or just a different shoe altogether. And the big pro is that knee-high boots are a fantastic way to take a dress from day to night. So versatile, and they tend to look really polished regardless of what boot you choose. You can add a long coat or trench over your dress, pair it with the knee-high boots, and you have a very elegant and elevated look that easily transitions to many different occasions. Now, in terms of my favorite boots this season, there's the best-selling pair by Zazan that I wear constantly. And when my sister visited, she was this close to stealing them. I'm actually surprised they're still here. Now, I got them in a glossy black. They also come in a really gorgeous glossy chocolate, and then also a vintage camel that, like, my mind is kind of exploding because I really love these two colors so much, but I like them so much that I wouldn't even be sure like which one to pick. I'd love to hear if you like more of like the camel color or more of like the glossy chocolate. It's a really hard choice. These are $3.45 and they are worth every penny because they are so comfortable, so classic, elegant, and they really feel like they'll go with you anywhere, like from dressy occasions. Actually, I went to a YouTube shopping event in LA with a bunch of really amazing YouTubers that I love and admire, and some of them are friends of mine. And I felt like they were great because we were gonna be walking around in meetings all day and events and networking. So I didn't wanna wear heels, but I also kind of wanted to look like a fashion girly as well, and these fit the bill so well. I'm so glad that I wore them. And yeah, I think they may have sold me into potentially getting another pair. Other pair that is phenomenal, scalloped collar boot by Zara, that is also a bestseller. It's got a very nice height heel that's not too big, but it also looks very elevated because it's like borderline kitten heel. And I'm very cautious with kitten heels because I feel like sometimes they can be uncomfortable or sometimes, you know, not very ergonomic. These are so comfortable, they're amazing. I love them. I'm so glad that many of you have gotten them because they are fantastic. The other pair that I really like, I hate to say, is also a suede boot. This is very not me to get two types of something, but I couldn't resist because these are by Ralph Lauren and they're slouchy. So they kind of like have this beautiful buttery fall that just kind of like looks like very, like almost like whipped cream, like suede whipped cream. And then they have a very different kind of heel. They have more of like a chunk heel. Just at first glance, I'm like, yep, your favorites. Another pair by Cozy Island that has really nice traction on the bottom. So that's key when it comes to like not falling out there in the element. A little kitten heel as well, but then they're also very form-fitting in a really comfortable material that doesn't make my calf feel claustrophobic. And then the fifth pair is this by Inez. It's a burgundy boot that has just the perfect amount of heel, extremely comfortable. They're known for their comfortable shoes as well, just like Cozy Island is. But frankly, all of these shoes are insanely comfortable. I have some discount codes for most of them. I'll put everything down below. Now, when it comes to finding your perfect pair of knee-high boots, the first thing you want to ask yourself is, what is my lifestyle? This is something that I see all the time with my clients where they fall in love with a particular silhouette and they're just gonna buy one pair, right? So they're not gonna get like the suede and also the, you know, the flat shoes. They just want one pair. And you would just really have to be honest with yourself. Are you gonna be wearing these like to a lot of events and dinners and kind of like dressier occasions? Or are you gonna just be doing the mommy runs, running the errands, doing the soccer practices, you know, walking around the city, commuting? Like, what are you gonna wear them for? Because that is really gonna dictate, are you gonna stick to a nice like flat riding boot? Are you gonna go for more of those like kitten heels and those things like that? So that is number one when it comes to picking out your perfect pair. And then in terms of fit and size, again, really look at the size of the shaft. And sometimes companies provide those dimensions. At points, it is a trial and error type of thing where you might order something, try it on, and then decide that it doesn't quite work for your leg. And that's okay, because you want to have these boots forever. You want to look the best that you can and not shorten your silhouette. Oh my gosh, the colors are so pretty today. This is future me, so there's been a little bit of an outfit change. But as you're looking through all of these boots and you're kind of wondering to yourself, which is the best one for me, make sure to take my free style quiz full of custom recommendations based on your style preferences. I will link it below in the comments as well. There's two videos I recommend if you enjoyed this video. One is how to style Western boots in 2025, and then the how to style a loafers video. I'll see you there. And if you learned something today, make sure to hit the subscribe button.